I wanted to show you how to use the simple spreadsheet I've posted in your budget assignment to help you compute the amounts that you're going to need to compute the break-even budget. So this spreadsheet has the columns that you need and a place where you can compute your annual cost and monthly tuition. Remember, it's required. The board wants your monthly tuition amount needed per child in order to begin thinking about if they're going to be able to meet their expenses, if they're going to need to charge a higher tuition or a lower tuition. This is the number that they want. So to get to it, you're going to need to open your spreadsheet and enter all of the items as listed in the scenario. If you look carefully at the scenario, you'll notice that these amounts or number of teachers do not match. I did not do the entire spreadsheet for you. I just got you started. So if you need to add another teacher, this is on a numbers spreadsheet, so it's a little different than if you're in a Word program or Microsoft program, but you can just add a row above or below. You'll notice it's empty now, and then I can add in another teacher. When I know my teachers' names in a real program, I would actually put their names in here. I think it's very important that you actually add each teacher separately. The reason for that is if you decide to give teacher Mary a raise in the middle of the year, you're going to need to quickly compute how much that's going to change your tuition costs needed for your break-even budget. Sometimes the minimum wage changes. You may lose a teacher and you want to just delete that teacher for a while and add in the cost of a sub. So being able to individually compute how much each person is costing the program is very, very important. So you're going to go down here and again figure out how much each person makes. The scenario gives you their hourly wages and the number of hours they work a week. So you can get a weekly rate here. And remember, there's 52 weeks in a year, and we'll figure out in this scenario that they're getting paid for they're working 52 weeks a year. They might have some vacation time, but that's the amount that they'll be paid annually. This column here is going to be all of your annual costs. So you'll need to look and see if it's a weekly cost, you're going to need to multiply it by 52 weeks. If it's a monthly cost, you'll need to multiply it by 12 months. Okay, so that's where some people get into trouble. Sometimes they'll see that it's an annual cost and then they'll still multiply by 12. So if it's an annual cost, you'll just put it in the annual column. Okay, so down here again, you want to look and see if the costs that you've been given in this scenario are weekly, monthly, or annual, and then you will go ahead and enter them in here. Once you get to the bottom of this, you're going to add all your employee costs up here, and then you're going to add all your other costs here. You can then total your employee costs and your other costs. Do not make the mistake of totaling everything again. What sometimes people do is they'll just do an auto sum and total everything, and they'll actually end up with their employee costs twice. So if the number seems really ridiculous, this budget actually reflects probably a typical tuition being paid in many areas of California. So if your tuition is $100 a month when you get down here, probably not correct. If it's $10,000 a month, also probably not correct. The other thing where people get a little confused is the total covered by fringe benefits. Your fringe benefits typically cover your health insurance and employment insurance, all of those things. So you want to make sure that these people are working enough hours to be included in fringe benefits, and you'll look at the amount that your center is computing for fringe benefits. You'll take that amount, all of these salaries, make sure that you have the annual amount, and then you'll multiply it by the percentage of fringe benefits, and then that will give you your fringe benefit amount. So for example, if all of your salaries added up to $100,000, you would put in $100,000, and then you would multiply $100,000 times 0.10 for 10%, and now put an equal sign in front of this. Put it in the wrong place. Equals 100, and then we'll just, and then it's, my fringe benefits are $10,000. So I hope that makes sense. You'll multiply, or you'll add up all of your salaries, and then you'll have a total here. Remember, only people who are working half-time or more, and then you will take your fringe benefits, just multiply the amount of salaries by the percentage of fringe benefits. Okay, the other place that people sometimes have a little bit of trouble is this food program income. You are receiving income from the food program in this scenario, so you will want to deduct that from your expenses, because if you're spending $20,000 on food, but the food program is giving you $10,000 back, then you're going to be able to deduct that $10,000 from your expenses. So your food program is only going to cost you $10,000. So the easiest way is to just deduct it from your total center expenses. You put food in here, the cost of your cook, that's what can be deducted by the food program. However, typically the money you receive from the food program is going to be less than the cost of supplying those things. So you're going to deduct it. So again, for example, if your total expenses are $500,000 and you're getting $10,000 for the food program from the state, then you would just subtract. So you would do a 500,000. So again, we'll just do a simple Excel equals 500,000, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minus 10,000, and so 490,000. So we know that 490,000 is our total expenses. Again, these are made up numbers. They do not cover the scenario, so don't turn in these numbers. Read your scenario. But you'll notice my spreadsheet is set up to take the total expenses, divide by the 48 students, and divide by 12 months, and then that's the amount that I get. So whatever you end up here for total expenses needed to be covered by tuition, you're going to take that, divide it by 48, which is the number of students, and then by 12 months. We are not charging a different amount for infants, toddlers, preschoolers in this scenario. We're trying to keep it simple so that if this is your very first time doing a budget, you can, it'll be a little bit easier. Again, when it's your own center, your real center, you'll be able to play with these numbers a lot more. But once you can do a simple spreadsheet, and just play with it, go up here once you're done with it and you've turned it in and it's all you think correctly computed, give everybody $1 an hour raise and see how much that increases the monthly tuition. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Again, this is a number spreadsheet on Mac. So if you have an Excel spreadsheet, it pretty much runs the same. In fact, this was created on an Excel spreadsheet. So you should be able to go in here and put in whatever you need. So if you have any questions, please ask, but please read the budget lectures that I've posted. Read the chapter on budgets in your textbook and listen to this, and I think it's going to help you quite a bit. Thanks. Happy budgeting.